Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our broadcast. I'm Toby1. I'll be your caster for this series. I'm not Austin Capitalist Walsh. Don't worry, we'll get that fixed for next time around. Production value. WCA 2015 is what we are doing right now. Before we jump inside the game, I was going to show you the very quick bracket. So we already had Alliance qualify themselves through, NIP and Virtus Pro, and our last semi-final team we're trying to decide right now, will it be Natus Vincere or Team Secret? We're going to find out, and I'm not going to find out alone. I am actually joined by a man who I'm very thankful for joining me at short notice. And, well, you're going to enjoy it anyway because the dulcet tones of his voice will just make this game ever so sweeter. Perch, man, it's great to have you on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Pretty excited to see the new teams. Everybody's been wondering, like, is Secret going to be just as good as before, if not better? You can maybe argue their talent is less good, but we'll see how their team interacts because teamwork is the thing that wins you Dota games right now.
It really is, man. I've been watching some amazing team play. That's when the Perfect World servers weren't lagging. But watching the Chinese Dota of late is stupendous. Watching the movement as well, the timings are all right. The observer wards are always predicting where they're going to go next. I kind of feel really spoiled for all the action I got to watch over the last couple of days. And now I get Na'Vi versus Secret. Yay!
Yeah, it should be good. How's new Na'Vi been? Have they played many games? I haven't seen them. I haven't seen PSM play. I obviously know the rest of their players very well, but do you know that much about Na'Vi as they currently stand?
The new Na'Vi hasn't really had the greatest run. So the new Na'Vi has only played, I believe, 2 games together, unless I go grab back. Okay, no, they actually played more than that because they played a couple of games back on the 4th of September. So their first day out, they did go 2-1 up against the Russian team, new team. Then they were 2-0'd by Vega. They 2-0'd Monkey Freedom Fighters, and then 2-1 up against the CIS Rejects most recently, and that was during the MLG qualifier. So
10 seconds remaining.
it's they've had a bit of an up and down period recently. It hasn't been terrific for them.
Remaining.
All right, next question. Which players on Secret are which? Obviously, Soul must be EE.
Yeah.
PLD is Pylai Dai. W33 is Weeha. A is Misery, I guess?
Yeah,
right?
Misery should be the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, we did ask them to have their official names. So if everyone's actually wondering too why we're not on the Dota TV ticket, there is a perfectly logical explanation for this. The WCA ticket in the store was only for the Chinese qualifiers. And then the whole Reborn thing happened and tickets to come through and other things happened, and the end result being there is no WCA European qualifier ticket. Even though we do have $75,000 worth of prize pool, we don't have a ticket.
We're not important. That's what they're trying to tell us.
No,
I was working on other things.
No,
but let's be real.
I want to be like AUI. I want to be important.
But bugs are the issue right now. There's plenty of bugs that still happen. Spectator bugs. Feels like we're going through the same thing that we did, 2 or 3 years ago. But I mean, the game is a lot better now. Reborn is a better client, surely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sound reluctant.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. The frames issues. We can see things happen faster. There's not that like 2-second lag spike when you load into the game.
I saw a skeleton minion take out a curry which had the remainder of a bloodstone on it. Because it
like
just
from
took
full?
Yeah. There were 2 minions that walked up and the courier was just traveling at normal speed over the top of the camp, and it's like zip, zip, and the courier was like, oh.
Okay.
That happened. So
okay.
Yeah.
So many bugs to deal with.
Yes, it has not been the smoothest time in the world since Reborn. But let's focus on the quality Dota and hope we don't have any of those tonight. Team Secret's going to start on the Dire side, Na'Vi on the Radiant. It's a full best of 3 coming your way, and it's the first real showing. In fact, it is the first showing of Team Secret since their roster changes and since TI. So I'm interested to see how the guys go. I'm also interested to see how Na'Vi is going to draft this one. PSM is now their new leader and commander, so Na'Vi follow wherever he maybe leads them or demands they go. While Puppy is back into that captain seat, looking down at his old team again with a whole brand new team up his sleeve. But he's got a lot of unique players, especially like Weeha. Weeha, the renowned Meepo player, the renowned Micro Master coming up for Secret.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy too. We met him in Romania when we were there for the TI qualifiers. We'll see how diverse his hero pool is. Usually when you grab a player like him from pubs, they're usually extremely good at a couple of heroes, but they're maybe not as diverse to all situations. So we'll see if he can adapt to that. But I think he's playing their mid, and they pick Queen of Pain, so I assume we'll see him play Quap. And I think that's a pretty straightforward mid hero. I'm sure he'll do fine, honestly. The one pick that I'm a little curious about is the IO pick or the Wisp pick. It's grabbed already. They haven't grabbed the pairing. Secret isn't banning out the pairing, surprisingly. I guess they just value it as one of the best heroes or something like that. I'm just quite surprised to see it this early.
Yeah, it is really weird. Like, okay, so I'm at least happy to see it because it's mixing up a lot of what I've already been casting, which has been Earthshaker, Tusker, all these early pickups. The Queen of Pain's been actually really put to the back lines. Rhea and I are actually discussing about her, about how it's not the great early pickup because it's one of the few heroes that can't gain momentum with Bloodstone. So it's not like the Storm Spirit, for example, or even Lina. Like, Lina's managed to find a way to get Bloodstone into her build as well. So
yeah, I like the Lina Bloodstone. It's pretty cool. It's like you're getting HP and attack speed and movement speed with the Bloodstone instead of just like the regen.
Did you get to see the ESL games earlier today?
I did not. What happened?
We had, I think it was LGD versus IG. I'm just double checking to make sure I don't sound like a complete fool. And I actually, luckily I did check because it wasn't LGD versus IG. It was in fact the VG Gaming versus eHome game. But they had both a Lina and a Storm Spirit who had 18 Bloodstone charges each by 15 minutes into the game.
Oh man, that's dirty. That's like you have 7 heroes basically in every team fight.
Yep.
That's actually really disorienting. You get a couple kills, you're like, we're winning, and all of a sudden they show up again because they respawned instantly.
Do you want to know how bad that game was for the rest of it? They had
did it even last 10 minutes past that?
It lasted 10 minutes past that, but it was definitely only because there was a heavy fight from VG Gaming. But they were running Techies, Tusker, and SB with that. It was pretty brutal, man. It was pretty brutal. But what it did show was the effectiveness of getting these early Bloodstone and momentum-based intel heroes. So Team Secret, of course, have the one hero which very rarely makes it through, and that's the Bounty Hunter. Kills galore, you're rolling the money, and then you can just see heroes like Queen of Pain make it from her initiating item to her second item a lot quicker.
Yeah, it's not a huge amount of gold with a level 1 track, but it accelerates him into a very fast mech, which helps your team fight a lot better. You can push, you can save allies. It makes Bounty Hunter a lot more diversified, so it's definitely very good for him. Phantom Lancer picked up for Natus or for Navi as well. Pretty good versus Queen of Pain in a lot of ways. She has a little bit of trouble dealing with him in the late game, and he can, if she ever blinks aggressively, he can usually do a ton of damage to her. And the only other ban that I'm a little surprised about is the Huskar ban, kind of out of place there, but I guess it's relatively good versus IO. You can kill him very, very fast and can survive a lot of Lina. Well, it's not very good against Lina Eggs, though. So it's kind of a weird ban here. Maybe they're scrimming Secret and in Secret and seeing Huskar picks or something. I think the hero's situationally good.
There's been a lot more Huskar pickups, especially if you have any intention of going something like Gyro. Like, PL's not as bad because you've still got, like, you've already got him on the field, so you're not going to go into Gyro, but Huskar has been wrecking a lot of games of late, where he just becomes this sponge that you got to blow the Sonic Wave or something like Laguna Blade a lot earlier on to get the kill. But I suppose you got Lina with pure damage, so it's once she's got the axe, of course. But
it's a really weird ban there because PL actually has a stupidly high win rate against Huskar, at least in pubs, just because Huskar doesn't have any AoE. So if Phantom Lancer ever gets ahead of the Huskar starts becoming pretty useless unless he has a ton of evasion. A Legion pick actually going to be a little surprising. It's a hero that's sometimes popular, but not super often, is occasionally picked against illusion-based heroes like Phantom Lancer. It's good against Broodlings, things like that. But against the current lineup, Legion's not amazing here, but it can work, especially with the Wisp. And this may mean that they're going to do a dual offlane here with the Wisp or the IO and the Legion Commander and try to pressure the safe lane. But since we don't really see who the safe lane is yet, I feel like this is a little scary for Navi.
Yeah, it's like, I really feel like Team Secret are in a very comfortable position. Now you get the Visage as well, so Legion Commander's duels have a very large potential to get interrupted.
Yeah, they could do Bats or Soul Assumptions or even Grave Chill, reducing their attack speed can really help a lot. It definitely is a little weird, but Secret is lacking on stuns a slight amount, so maybe Legion will have an okay game here. And if they can set things up, like for example, Lina gets a Eul's Scepter. If she gets a Eul's Scepter and she finds any hero, the Eul's them, the relocate comes in with Legion and Wisp, and it's not just a Lina getting a kill, it's a duel in addition to that, and it's guaranteeing that kill. So that's probably the synergy they're going for here. They can create space with Lina, IO, and Legion Commander while Phantom Lancer farms until he gets 2 or 3 items, and then hopefully can really pressure his opponents.
That's a pretty good plan, man. PL being able to carry through. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen it. Won't be the last time we'll see it either. I always get a little concerned though with PLs going up against Quaps because the illusions just get cleaned up very early on, and then you can get like I know you can doppelganger away from the track, but I suppose that's where we now see the next hero from Team Secret, their #1 position, who takes up that hard carry role that's capable of dealing with a PL. And do you get cocky enough to go for something like like an Anti-Mage, for example, which is normally being the pickup up against someone like a Phantom Lancer?
I think Anti-Mage is pretty good versus Phantom Lancer. It's got cleave. It's decent against Lina. Kind of goes both ways depending on who gets stunned first, kind of a thing. But the only problem with AM this game is it's not amazing versus Legion either, I feel, because Duel is such a long duration lockdown, and if he is stunned and Lina has Ags, that's pretty much just a dead AM every time, and they don't have a whole lot of things to protect him. So it's going to need to be something that's pretty lane independent, since we'll probably have a roaming bounty. Visage is an okay lane support, but not amazing. So I feel like they need something a little bit harder carry potential than AM, but I don't know if they want to, because in the late game, Navi clearly has the better lineup, I think, excluding the whole bounty hunter thing. So Magnus is going to be the last pick, and that's going to be a Lina support, I guess.
Well, I doubt it's going to be a Legion Commander support, but can you get away with Jungle Legion?
It's so bad. It's not good. It's not good.
I suppose you wouldn't want a Jungle Legion anyway, because you want to be stacking. So, well, I say so Lina could farm, but so if you push the Lina into a support role, then she's not going to be able to clean up that jungle nice and quick.
I guess they just don't feel comfortable with the IO Legion offlane, because it could be pressured by Bounty a bit. Neither of those heroes have stuns, so I think Bounty could definitely pressure well. But with them picking so early, it's almost like they picked themselves into a corner here. Maybe they just wanted to have guaranteed late game or something like that with the Magnus now. I mean, they could also go aggro tri-lane, I guess. They could do like PL Lina IO. That wouldn't be terrible, I don't think. And then do a safe lane Magnus versus Clockwork. Maybe that's their plan. I feel like that's more likely than them defaulting to offlane Magnus with support Lina IO. I feel like they're going to go aggro with this due to the fact that they basically messed up their lanes on purpose. But we'll see. I might be wrong here.
Well, you get to find out, man. There's not much time for Team Secret to pick up either. And they're going to look at their hero. So if this is going to be an aggro lane, we have to look to the Team Secret safe laner. Like, who's going to be the strongest in that position? Someone with some level of escape mechanism. I suppose you could always just throw the Quap up there, but it's going to be Anti-Maga, the final hero up from Team Secret. Good up against the PL and has the escape mechanism away from that aggressive lane.
Yeah, he does, but I feel like if they aggro here, Navi, that they're in an advantage. Visage is decent early in lane, but it usually takes them level 2, level 3 before he's strong. And as long as they have sentries down and Bounty can't just do easy harass, then they've got PL, who has a very good early game nuke and decent mana. They'll have a Wisp who can get a fast bottle and basically pump him mana. PSM playing the Lina can also be in lane. Very, very good tri-lane support. I feel like they can definitely pressure that Anti-Mage, Visage, and Bounty Hunter combo without a huge amount of difficulty, at least until the point where Clock gets 6 or Quap gets 6. Either one of those heroes could rotate and cause a lot of havoc. So maybe they'll just pressure the Anti-Mage early, shift the lanes back at like minute 5 or something like that, and then from there continue, would be my guess.
Well, I think it's a pretty damn good guess, man, because right now, like, I'm looking at an EE Sama Anti-Mage. I still have nightmares about how he was able to slip between the lines so many times during TI. Like, keeping control of that Anti-Mage. Even when you had, like, proper warding, like, all across the map, you still couldn't control him.
It's definitely hard, but they've got good lockdowns this game. I mean, once there's a blink on Magnus, they could do the same thing. It doesn't have to be Yules. Blink RP into a relocate duel, something like that, and then just empower the Legion, empower the PL. Like that, they've got really good synergy with their draft, to be honest. They've got a good mix of magic damage. There's a good scaling potential out of the supports with the Wisp as well as the Lina, and then late game, you know, empower on 2 melee cores is amazing. So looks like they will go do some pressure in the off lane, at least a dual lane, I guess. I guess they're going to feel comfortable with it. And then that'll put Dendi mid, and then safe lane Phantom Lancer covered by Lina. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I think it'll be all right.
So we'll see just how much presence Pylai Dai is capable of having. Do they at least bring... Okay, they have a sentry ward here. Looks like we also just lost our Wisp. We obviously, this is a pretty high-profile game, and we're hoping for a smooth movement through connections to make this
Fingers
happen.
crossed.
Fingers most definitely crossed. I suppose it would be like the ultimate way to make my day after I've already been dealing with it with the perfect world lag. now have this. But it looks like we also lost Anti-Mage for a moment. But Snakeo's at least back in nice and quick.
Oh god, I'm actually really excited to see Pylite Die play because he was pretty much the original bounty hunter support, at least in the western scene, back on old Cloud9 days. So he played it at TF4, I believe. Very few teams did back then. So interesting to see what he's picked up since then. I assume his item builds will transition into what's common now, but maybe he'll have something up his sleeve.
I've also wondering what happened too. I suppose he didn't explain what happened on his team. So why should
it could have been something small.
Oh, sure as, really. At the perfect time that you say that, he can't even hear what you just said. But hopefully they get through their issues.
Just some simple internet issues. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, man.
Standard stuff on Puppy. Pretty much no items on him. He's playing like the hard 5 Visage, I guess.
It's kind of weird to put him as like a hard 5. Like
yeah, like Pylite Die normally played the super hard 5 on his old team, so maybe he's going to play more of a farming role, and that's what I'm assuming because Puppy has historically been the super hard 5, and he's like the captain of the team, so surely he'll take the hard 5 position.
But at the same time, like with a Visage, you want to have those Aghanims upgraded familiars, so you want to be able to get into something like a Solar Crest, or at least an early Medallion. Because if Envy goes for this Battle Fury, which we assume he will, and he picks up a Vladimir's offering, they're gonna need some kind of Medallion carrier. And if that turns into being like Pylite Die, then the extra question gets asked: does he try and build into Greaves? It seems like they're a little greedy with the supports team Secret to make them work.
A little. They don't have a lot of stuns, but I think they could just do Mech on Bounty and Solar Crest on Visage, or maybe if Bounty does really well, he can get both. But they can split those up, and they really do need a Solar Crest this game. There's a lot of physical damage coming for these heroes. Nice little ward placed by Funnick here. Eats the tree, or kills it with a Quelling Blade and puts the ward up. So he's going to have some good vision of heroes that are shifting to the top lane to gank him. And hopefully they can deward this for their sake. They have one sentry, and I think Puppy's got the other one, so might be able to get it.
So they throw it down, and Envy, he's going to give him the vision. Does he have to munch it?
Kill.
Okay, they just tango it. I was going to say, there's the old days where you actually have to cut through to reach the ward to kill it.
Yeah, that was really nicely done there. That'll help him out a lot. The camp won't be blocked. If Puppy wants to pull, he can, so he can counteract their lane a little bit if they're scared to contest it.
And Havors is really isolated down here. He's going to doppelganger away to safety. That means
That's
he has to give up the 100 rune. Meanwhile, up on top lane, Pylite Die is looking for the steal. Denny's sitting right on top of it, and the Bounty Hunter actually got it. So, okay. So Bounty and Quap will take the first 100 runes, and that puts Secret in a nice position to start with. It also really delays Denny's bottle.
Yeah, and not only that, if he wanted an extra piece of regen, then he's not going to get it. He's only got a salve and a tangle, whereas Weehal's got another stack of, or another salve coming out. So slight regen advantage going to him, but I guess Magnus only has a stout shield for now, so he's just aiming to stay alive. But it will definitely impact him a little bit here. That's about, what, two to three last hits that he's got to get more now, just to stay relevant.
I'm interested to see the build as well from Weehar. Like, you're going up against a Magnus. This is a very old combo for us, so you have to remind me up a little bit. As Pilot, I also just took out the second Sentry Ward, so Na'Vi now have no invis detection at all. But Queen of Pain going up against Magnus, do you prioritize the Shadow Strike, or do you look for the burst damage with the Scream kills?
I mean, you shouldn't like level up Shadow Strike a ton. You can get maybe 2 if you want that, but it really does delay your mid game. And I feel like they definitely need a good mid game because if Na'Vi gets ahead, they're going to be in a really bad spot. So maybe 1 dagger. He hasn't even been casting it. He hasn't cast it yet. He's skilled the point, but he hasn't even cast it on his opponent.
He's running out of mana and running out of life. Pylite Die. They don't have any other range attack. Puppy's going to come in. He's got Soul Assumption, which Shanae can be really careful about. That damage, it's enough for Puppy to get the first blood. Secret off to a very good start. Phonic's trying to get some revenge damage in here, but Puppy, well, he doesn't have enough for a second Soul Assumption, at least.
What a huge mistake from the Wisp there, Soneko. He's trying to min-max there, but Puppy just got within range. The Soul Assumption range is huge, actually, so you have to be very careful. And now that gives him a fast boots, despite him being poverty with his item build. Now he's got this boots advantage over his opponents. That was just not a mistake that they could make there in the laning stage when they're doing a dual offlane. Like, if they die 1 or 2 more times, the lane's over, and they get pretty gimped, and Funnick has to go jungle. So this is tough for him.
But Funnick going jungle is not the option. As you said, it's trash. You don't want to have a Legion Commander there at all. And because if you do that too, then this whole early pressure you're talking about on Eternal Envy also doesn't exist. He's already 9 for 2 CS above that of Vorst. After Vorst already had to doppelganger up at the start too.
It's a huge overwhelming odds on the top lane, and Envy's gonna be eating tangos for about 5 or 6 minutes here.
You're right.
Damage being done.
He is fairly low. But the funny thing is, though, Funny can't really capitalize on this situation because now we get like, okay, we have ourselves a pause. PSM's going to stop everything. But Seneko is currently Janarded. He's orbed up. And Legion Commander can't actually help him with the press the attack, but does have 2 points like up in overwhelming odds. But that's not really going to stop the Bounty Hunter from killing here.
Yeah, that's just a trade of damage. It's not really, nothing's going to happen here. It's one of the downsides to the dual lane Legion. You don't have a stun until you're 6, but he has a lot of HP. He's got a stout shield. His armor's not amazing, but his strength gain is very good. So he's just going to hit Pile Die basically. Zone the Bounty Hunter back. Bounty doesn't have a stout. He's got a stout. And once he gets Moment of Courage as well at level 4, then he's going to be happy to trade. The Wisp is definitely the weak point. That's who they're going to continue pressuring. And with Puppey out of position slightly, this is fine. Pile Die is just trying to get him to leave the lane and trying to create space for the Anti-Mage, which he's doing. 10 last hits on Anti-Mage, he's got the most.
Nice. Because this means it's greater for Envy. The fact if he does get that health ring up, then jump yourself into your jungle later on, give a lot of space to Puppey. Yeah, it's going to be a really good transition for Team Secret as far as timing goes. I'm still trying to work out Navi's timing. Like I understand with Dendi playing this mid, that you're going to get quicker levels, which means Empower's going to come quicker, and that means if you do need to send the Legion into the jungle, it's not as bad. But how gimped are you going to make the Magnus if you have to level up Empower a little bit earlier on? I think I actually saw a Magnus the other day where he actually kept 1 point up in Skewer and went the rest of it up into Empower as well as your Shockwave. But that was because he was playing offlane.
I think that's not bad this game. Like their timing is basically mid game. They want to get the Legion 6 and they need to get Wisp 6, and then they need to set up kills using either Duel or Yules or RP, things like that. And then they should just go around killing. The same thing is going to come out of Secret. They're going to be roaming around with Bounty Hunter. They're going to try to get kills with everybody except for Anti-Mage, who will just be farming. So both teams are going to be doing a lot of killing in the mid game, or trying to do a lot of killing, and it all comes down to how they move around the Wisp and if they can shut down these early lanes.
Well, man, be easy to move Wisp once she is level 6. I'm still waiting to see if we get any stacks inside the Radiant jungle, which at this point there aren't any. So there's no clearance being prepped. Are they got a little bit further over, or
just a medium camp? Not much, basically.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, you said Radiant.
Yeah, I said Radiant. So I'm looking for Na'Vi to get the injection of money, because right now I still feel like they're the ones playing catch up. Secret had the better start with the 100 runes, even though Na'Vi's got more experience. I'm kind of feeling like Secret have more kill potential earlier on than Na'Vi do, until you get something like the Blink Dagger up on Dendi. And he takes time. Normally he goes for the Arcane boost before he goes for that Blink Dagger.
Some pressure coming top again as Pile Die comes to the offlane. Ooh, they're going to chase Puppey a little bit, but damage on Seneko means they have to back.
Yeah.
This is not bad for Na'Vi, honestly. They're dedicating 3 heroes to trying to zone 2 from the offlane. EE's still getting a lot of farm, but Legion's doing alright. He's got about 10 and Wisp has 2, so it's taking them a lot more hero resources, though, which is definitely a problem, which means that PL is basically getting an entire free farm, and he's getting a lot less pressure than the AM does.
Seneca's really isolated. Puppey was waiting for this, and the blink forward. There is stick charges, but Weeha's rotated himself in. Seneko will end up ticking out, and Funnick trying to find some kind of revenge kill over on Puppey, but the chance of that after he gets united is now nothing. He can't catch up to him, and, well, for the heavy commitment of heroes, they have just turned the tide of this top lane.
It's great rotation from Weeha there. He got there at the perfect timing. I didn't see what got Soneko so low into the side jungle, but they're clearly in a bad position. Cool interaction between their heroes, though. Press the attack onto the Wisp. If you're tethered to the Legion, is actually healing both of you. So they got a bunch of extra free regen out of that. And it was a lot, but not quite enough to keep him alive. If there was only 3 heroes, they would have lived. But with Weeha rotating, it secured the kill. So
what dropped the Wisp down was the Bounty Hunter. He actually had an earlier attack and then jumped back into Invis.
I see.
And that took about a quarter of the life of the Wisp.
Makes sense. Clockwork's sitting almost level 5, so he's sitting pretty happy at 5 minutes. Not too surprising, I guess. It's a little scary to try to zone him solo, but I feel like Lina maybe could have, though. I feel like the clock should be a little bit lower level, but it's so hard to stop him from just pulling the creep right back with cogs, so not too surprising there. It's going to be a good game for him, too. There's a lot of good targets that he can go on.
I love watching Pile Die playing this Bounty Hunter right now, because he was just testing the water. He's trying to bait them to attack, because Seneko copped a rocket as well from the Clockwork. That's a level 3 rocket. And getting hit by Janata drops him down to 1/3 of his life.
It's pretty good. Pie's getting low.
Yep. But he's this is the other part where he was testing the waters. he was walking right over this line here because he knew exactly where the sentry ward was going to, like, start vision and end vision.
Pulls continue for the Dire team to get more levels. Pile Die going back to base to heal. Despite, well, he's actually been in 3 kills. I was going to say he hasn't been in very many kills, but he's put a lot of lane pressure on, and he's also gotten some kills here. He's doing really well.
Weeha actually just did that. Okay, so he came in on Dendi, and Dendi is level 6, so potentially could have turned for the RP. The Wisp came down to help him, and Weeha just walks in, picks up the rune, then blinks away without Dendi being able to do anything to stop him. So he just snipes the bounty rune out from Dendi and forces him now, after the Shadow Strike will also connect, to Bottle Crow.
That's not the worst thing. He's still got 2 charges here. He didn't lose a whole lot. He will send it back on the bottle just to save some time, but Pile Die doing bottle trick here. More mana coming to Weeha, and he should be able to pressure the lane really good now, especially because he's got 3 levels in Scream and his ultimate. Dendi's HP is very high, but Weeha definitely has the advantage.
It's just watching a play like that. Like you're saying it before, like it's all about who can actually outplay each other. Just moments like that's going to make you just get a little frustrated that you couldn't get a single, like a rune you were setting right on top of. And it happened 6 minutes previous to that when he lost the bounty rune, except that was to the bounty hunter.
You know, Dundee's actually doing a really good job last hitting, though. He's got 28 versus the 33 of Quap. Quap TPing to the top lane, though. Looks like they're going to try to get a kill. He probably got spotted by creeps as he moved into the jungle, though, so I think this is a pretty big mistake. And I think that, yeah, the Radiant Observer actually saw him TP in the mid lane, so he actually wasted a ton of time rotating up top there. On the bright side, he had a hero mid, so Pilot A is going to clean up the experience that was missed here, but a little bit of a mistake there. Dendi will just have to skewer back, and no problem.
He would have loved to have grabbed Pilot Eye with that, but obviously not to be the case. How's the offlane looking? Because Misery was the man who moved into mid lane to soak up the experience when the last rotation happened from Weeha. So he got himself up fairly high as far as levels go. But he's actually almost level 6, 8 minutes in. The CS not as brilliant, but he's still got more net worth than the Legion Commander, who is able to hit pretty hard onto Pilot Eye as well as Puppey with that.
But they lose their Wisp again, and Wisp is only level 3 now. They haven't gotten any kills in their lane, which is not too surprising, because again, they don't have disables until 6, but they really need the Wisp to hit 6. It's super relevant in this game, because it's really going to limit their kill power. If they can't get the Legion around to get duels off, then he's not going to snowball into damage and not going to be as much of a contester. Havos is doing well, but that's not everything. You need some other damage source. Like Magnus is not a very good damage source. He's just more of a disabler, really.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, like, when is this Empower kicking in? And how long does it take for Dendi to do it? When you go 4-0-2-1 build? Yeah, it makes sense the next level. I'm also interested to see, like, then what he gets. Because I know I said, like, Dendi likes to go for the Arcane Boots. If he's, like, buffing up everyone with Empower, it chips away a little bit. When you've only got a 400 mana pool, 30 mana actually means quite a lot.
Yeah, it does. I don't know if he'll get Arcanes or not. Maybe. Maybe he'll even skip it. He could go Treads. Anything on the current? No, just Bottles still. I think a fast blink is really what they need. It's kind of the same thing with Wisp being 6. They need the team fight, the setups. They don't have an early easy setup that's gold unreliant like they do on the Dire team with Clockwork. So Clockwork can set up just by being 6. But on the Radiant team, they either need Relocate, or they need a Yules on the Lina, or they need a Blink on Magnus. So I feel like he should just rush Blink Dagger, honestly. And they've got some stacks here in the Radiant, this large camp here. And they just kills those and get a fast Blink, then they can do an RP duel setup and probably get some kills.
Shockwave is not the most efficient way to farm that, but...
It actually is. It's one of the best nukes in the game. 90 mana for 300 damage. Most nukes are like 120 or more, and it's a 7-second cooldown. It's by far one of the best abilities.
I don't know, it's just because I'm used to watching Lina as well as SF just mop up those camps with just a couple of raises, but you're right, efficiency-wise, it's quite good.
Very low mana. Oop, a hook shot coming in bottom. Pop comes in, blows up PL.
Well, that's one way to do it. Sorry, I was actually watching Is Snaker going to live? Weeha wants to dive this. Like, he's coming close, but it's a little bit too close now. So PSM's going to push him back. But with Bounty Hunter right behind him, the mana isn't there. But then when they get the Shadow Strike off, Snaker's going to go down. So it's a double kill for Weeha.
Nice play by Pilot Eye there. Transitioned and followed. He didn't have mana for his Strike and Toss, but he put the ward down that gave the vision that allowed Quap to feel safe to go back in. So that was very nicely done. Good poking there. Weeha's playing really well. 3-0-1. His CS is slightly low at 49 by 10.5 minutes, but he's rotated. This is his 3rd rotation, I believe, and he's gotten at least 2 kills out of him. Sitting 3-0-1 right now. So sacrificing some CS for lane presence, I think, is really good, especially in a game like this where Navi's heroes really need to hit that peak moment Wisp on 6, Magnus getting a Blink Dagger. Once they get those, then the game starts. And if he can just delay that, gives his team more time to prepare. And Envy's sitting 1-0-3, 800 gold, missing 2 of his damage items.
He's going to be really happy with this situation. You were talking about it before with Na'Vi doing this whole 4 heroes, really trying to make a lot of chaos, and then like Havorst just comes in and carries the game. But Envy's off to a great start, and Havorst actually building in for a very early Vladimir's offering on this PL. A very unconventional item as now Misery hookshots in, Seneco's going to go down. This is now his 5th death out of the 7 that Secret have managed to inflict onto Na'Vi.
That's a lot of deaths in the dual off lane. Like, Legion is 7 and all, but if he doesn't hit 6, he still can't do anything. But the problem is he also can't just, like, leave the off lane and go jungle, because he went 1-1-1 at his level 3. Normally you would go like 2 levels in spirits if you're going to do some early jungling. So he didn't really have the ability to go jungle. The camps weren't stacked anyways, so he didn't really have a good place to just catch up and farm. He's kind of just committed to this off lane, and they were just kind of stuck there. But at the same thing, like, the core that he's with didn't have kill potential. Like, what if this was like a Slardar or something like that, you know? Like, then they could have killed somebody, but because it was a Legion commander, they can only right click, and their opponents basically have the ability to outplay, I feel. So it's not really the best situation. I really don't think he has a whole lot of fallback unless he, like, and he can't like go gank mid or something. Like, what are you going to do with Magnus Wisp against the Quap? There just aren't good solutions. He has to go back to the offlane, and he also doesn't have the gold to continuously funnel sentries there to keep himself safe, because his opponents are just going to counterward them. So because they have more gold because they're winning.
Yep.
So he's just in a really bad situation, and there's not a huge amount he can do about it.
You said, man, they drafted themselves into that type of corner. They had to be expecting it. So, okay, so what do you think about this build over on the PL? Like, to go for such an early Vladimir's offering on him, as opposed to going something more like Aquila, drums into Diffuser Blade, what's the purpose of this Vlads?
The best thing about the Vlads is that you basically just jungle nonstop. And you don't have to worry about HP, because there aren't really a lot of items that you want to buy in PL that keep your sustain up in the jungle. You don't want to buy a lifesteal item usually. You don't want to buy a bottle too much. Like, you can, but it's not as good. Vlad's is going to scale pretty nicely, and it's going to keep your team strong and
Dendi
split push. But
starts the RP over on Weeha. These familiars of Poppy, though, are chasing after it and really inflicting a lot of damage, especially when Weeha has a Sonic Wave available. Dendi, well, the familiars dropped, but they're a little bit too far away. Envy was coming in for the kill secure with the Mana Void, but unable to achieve it. And Dendi still hasn't left yet. Is he waiting for the... Okay. He's waiting for someone to TP forward so he can bottle regen, but Seneco is actually not TPing. He's making Dendi walk back to base.
He can't afford to just TP for a bottle at this point. He's too far behind to sacrifice himself for his mid. I don't really blame him, but I don't see how they're going to get a kill on that Quap. There just wasn't enough damage there. They needed a third. That would have been a great time for a relocate, for example. They would have gotten that duel off, but because they had such a bad early game, it's just too tough.
And line's going to get so much harder now for Na'Vi. Track is up. We have a level 6 bounty hunter. He's actually TPing back to join Puppy, so it looks like we're going to see one of our first smoke ganks now from Team Secret. With Arcane Boots over on Pile I Die. So it answers our question about who is going to be building into that mech. Now, after such a great start, the Pile I Die can build into it next.
Yeah, it's pretty much always your bounty pickup. You can afford it so much better than a Visage can. You just have to track people, and all of a sudden you have a mech.
It was just the question when you have both Puppy and Pile I Die that need a lot of money. So Paladai comes up, you'll see a couple of illusions, and now understands which one's the real Havorst. And they just get all around him, and he'll be able to doppelganger himself away. And actually, Paladai so smart. He didn't track at the start, realizing doppelganger would happen, so they do get the bonus money.
That was really nicely done. And they just had to figure out which one is real, and very, very easy kill there. They've got good ward vision, too, on the Radiant team. They put one in the lane, and they put one at the top rune, or the bottom rune spot. But with the smoke through and the bounty to scout things out, there's just not a whole lot you can do. It's tough for them.
This is actually when maybe Na'Vi should take a leaf out of the book of the Chinese, because their warding is actually a lot more similar to what Secret have been doing. So you check the vision of Team Secret. Their Dire Observer wards see deep inside the Radiant jungle. They see behind the Tier 1 tower, and then you'll know if someone's going to be farming up in the mid. So you can work out from there exactly where Na'Vi is going to be moving. Where Na'Vi's ward is a very defensive one on top lane, in case Secret attack, but you never get any kind of early warning situation. And the two which are on bottom are normally, like, they're the very basic wards. So Secret will always be able to smoke around that.
Yes, but I feel like that's a circumstance of how the game is going and the heroes that they have. Like, Secret is much stronger at ganking right now because they don't need major items, and because the Wisp was so far behind, like, they can't really go aggressive yet. If Na'Vi got ahead early, then yeah, they would place aggressive wards, and they would be looking for relocate ganks and cool stuff like that, but they just can't do it because they're losing. And they will eventually try to attempt that, but it's just going to take a while.
I just know how you get around this.
This could be a kill.
Yeah, they have the Sentry Warp. They have to RP just to hold Pilot Die here. And this is good for Funnick. It's extra damage. It's a dual win. And it's a pick off on a Bounty Hunter. It's not worth as much because he is the lowest net worth of Team Secret, but still it's something.
Yeah, that was really good. They did that well. Then you saw him and he reacted perfectly. He even did the turn RP, so it didn't waste any time at all. Got him a little bit closer to Funnick just in case. So boom, 10 damage to Funnick now. He's getting closer to his own Blink Dagger, and the games could definitely get online here.
Yeah. Because then Funnick doesn't always require friends or something like a full RP committal to take over. And because he's got the Empower buff up, his damage is quite good. In fact, Eternal Envy doesn't want to stick around for this. Pings out the fact that they're all through their jungle. And maybe now Secret consider more defensive wards across the top area of the map.
They may have to, definitely, because if they close off their jungle and they easily have control of the enemy jungle, then it's going to really limit Havos's farm. He's got the hardest time in this game right now, because as soon as you lose your tier 1 bottom, it just becomes almost impossible to defend it. They tried to, but they still got kills off. And he's getting very close to his Diffusal Blade at least. And oh man, he's got 4 levels of Empower already. This is like so much. This is going to help his farm by a lot. He definitely can still farm and catch up this way.
And then we get to see what he uses his farm for. I'm loving Denny with this Blink as well as Arcane Bruise, already looking for another kill. Even though he doesn't have the RP up, they're trying to find an opening. And what can Bounty Hunter really do? Like, he tracks up on someone, and then you just press the attack, you get rid of it. It's actually going to be one of the hardest... Oh, that hook shot right in front of Dendy. The track will allow for that little bit of a extra bonus movement because they have a stump, they have Battery Assault, they have Cog to push him back. That's an entire team of Secret coming in to kill off Dendy.
He didn't even need to do that. Like, he would have skewered like what invisible bounty into the Legion commander. Neither of them had dust. Neither of them had a sentry. He just wasted his escape and used his blink offensively just to do that. So that was just a poor choice by Dendy there.
Oh, now Havos, the Sonic Wave. He's going to pop from this. The Orca damage should be enough. He's TPing back to base, but he will not make it. The Queen of Pain is there, and the track also got off before he was able to retreat. So yet again, another track kill for Pylai Die.
And a fast Orchid just puts Havos further and further behind. He bought out some items before he died, but he's still about 800 gold away from finishing his Diffusal Blade. If he actually had that finish, he wouldn't have died there, because he could have removed the Orchid from himself and just doppelganged away very easily. So, unfortunate for him that he's behind, but good for Secret. They were able to pressure right.
They're starting again. He's got someone to Shuri Toss. So the Shuri Toss will stop him from tethering over. But he had PSM just around the corner. There's that Blink Dagger you're asking for over on Funnick, but is it too late? Like, you're 2 for 12. Na'Vi's got a very long road ahead of them if they're going to get back in this game.
Well, it's not horrible. If he gets empowered and they have like a little bit more damage, he can probably kill any hero in the game right now, even Anti-Mage, because it's all physical, obviously. So, and they've got level 6 on the Wisp, so they should just set something up right now. Very simple. Like, as soon as everybody's alive, go set up a gank. Dendy RP somebody and somebody dies. It's that simple.
That's the plan. Are they grouping up again? Looks like they are doing so. They're starting to farm up Ancients as Secret. They try and take over the Radiant jungle. I'm wondering too if it's worth...
been theirs. It's been theirs for like 10 minutes at least.
True. Don't really take over something you already own. You just plant a deeper flag.
It's true.
And Pylai Die is going to just get himself out of here. They do still have that Dire Observer Ward there. And these 2 Radiant Sentries didn't find anything. But Na'Vi, this is when the Vlads can start to work. I thought they're actually going to go for Roshan. Their Observer Ward sees Weeha as Funnick starts to press the attack, but they're going to kill Puppey. So it will be a dual victory. But somehow I feel like they wanted a lot more than just a Visage.
Oh, that was actually worth it. He had a mega kill streak.
Wait.
Yeah. That's how good Puppey was doing. Mega kill streak on him, so more damage to Legion Commander, and Wisp actually was the one to get that, so that's going to help out his items a lot.
Puppey hasn't gotten kills in ages, but those must have all been from the very, very start of the game. He just hasn't died since then.
It was all those Wisp kills, actually.
Yeah, true.
Back for it.
All 5 of them had to almost been him. And Na'Vi going to try and push the situation down to the Tier 1 tower. There's no fortification for Team Secret, so this tower will be forfeit. And there's more money coming in for Funnick. The trade-off is attempted by Secret, but it's a little bit too late. But Dendi is hoping he can at least catch up to Misery here. He'll have to RP if he's going to commit. The relocate's coming in as well. They could potentially skewer, but then again, Weeha, the Sonic Wave to pop. Io's already gone down, and Misery has trapped Dendi in long enough. He's had to skewer himself out of it, but Weeha picks up the Lina as well. Dendi starts his TP. There are no more stuns. The damage output! He dropped down to 80 life. Havorst is charging in, trying to find more, and they start the duel on Weeha. This could be big. He buys the O Club, accepts his fate, and ends up dying. At the same time, the Radiant Courier ended up getting picked off. That had the Diffusal Blade.
Ooh.
It actually came into the fight exactly where they all died, and actually lost the Diffusal Blade of Havorst.
I don't think they're too upset about that, though, honestly. They got so much out of it. Like, yeah, they lost the Wisp and they lost the Lina. I was a little surprised they didn't bring Legion. Legion's duel was like 2 seconds off cooldown. They should have just brought Legion, maybe. But they killed a lot of important heroes. They killed Queen of Pain. They killed Clockwork, I think, and got another duel off. It was not that bad for them, considering they're behind. I think they're going to be happy with that.
Bonus 38 damage on Legion Commander, considering the initial start. That's pretty damn good. And you take now the Tier 1 tower. Na'Vi looking pretty secure. Shadow Blade's going to be the build from the Legion Commander.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Against a bounty? Alright, well, I guess he can press the attack himself, so I guess he doesn't have to worry about it too much.
Track's only really been a problem for Na'Vi after the fight's begun. Because the press the attack and Doppelganger is obviously the greatest removal ever. Like, there's no reason why any one of Na'Vi should be continuously tracked up.
Yeah, that's true. So they'll be fine against it, I suppose. And lets him solo gank as well. That's probably the more important part. That he can get duels off by himself. He doesn't have to rely on RP. He doesn't have to rely on other stuff.
These illusions are coming over. The secret trap it's up. They realize, like, the Solar Crest is nice and quick over on Puppey, but it's just not enough. They're relocating in, and Puppey realizes his problem. He needs to actually Grave Chill and get out of here, accepts his fate, and Funnick gets another duel win. Now 52 bonus damage on this Legion Commander. They're going to go in for Roshan. And it looks like Secret are letting it happen. They're moving over towards the Tier 1 tower.
Funnick can actually carry this game. Like, every damage he gets, it's also increased by 50% from Empower, so...
Oh, shot! Oh, Misery! He goes in for the fight! Roshan's going to be pushed back by the Cogs. Isolation's going to beat there. It's a nice Sonic Wave, and where's the extra damage? It wasn't enough. Not from the Mana Void, but Weeha. Roshan, he's still battling it out inside the pit. 4 heroes down for Na'Vi. The 5th is up. It's Denny trying to TP out. The Familiars won't get there in time. The Scream cooldown will. Weeha takes a triple kill, and Secret will secure Roshan. That was not the way I saw that playing out in my mind.
Yeah, me neither. That was... I mean, they got the kill, but it was just a Visage, and he still had his Familiars there. So did they really lose that much? I think Na'Vi just felt too strong about that. They're like, oh, we're winning. We're getting all these good kills. We have momentum, blah, blah, blah. Take the tower, or take the Roche. But it was just a Visage. Like, they don't lose that much by him not being there. The birds are still there. They got a great Sonic Wave that caught the 2 most important heroes that were in the Roche pit. And at that point, they were just kind of screwed. The other heroes are very easy to clean up by Anti-Mage or others. Like, E is so farmed this game. He's got Battle Fury Vlads. He's got an Ultimate Orb. He's got Treads. And now he has an Aegis on top of that. So they were gaining a lot of ground, but they just couldn't take that fight with only a Visage being the one that got picked off. Especially when they used Duel to get it.
Yeah. Because they had no more control factors after that point apart from RP, but there was never a good moment. You're all inside the pit trying to finish off Roshan and then caught out by Team Secret. Life has just become almost impossible for Na'Vi. That advantage is now stretching down closer and closer towards that 10k mark. It's roughly about 8,500 to 9,000 in favor of Secret at the moment. But just the fact that Envy is at the point where he's finished a full Manta style, that's a mechanism as well for the bounty. It looks like top lane is a duel over on the Queen of Pain, so Weeha will drop. Funnick now up to 66 bonus damage on this hero.
That's good. You know what else hurt them a lot was that Courier got sniped, so they didn't even have Diffusal Blade, which is about 3,000 gold of net worth. Like, think how much of a difference that is in a team fight. Basically means that PL only had a Vlad's. He was like as weak as a 12-minute, 13-minute PL instead of having the Diffusal Blade on top of it. So definitely hurt things, and they had more mana to fight and all that stuff.
Man, Misery, such great play. Starts with a rocket, follows up with a hook shot, and Sneko will drop. That was all Misery right there.
He's been doing really well transitioning back into offlane, considering he played support for like a very, very long time recently. Duel in set 6, actually. He's going to wait.
He might need a little bit of help, though. That lance from Vorst will drop it down, starts with press the attack, and then Puppey. Well, Familiar drop 1, Familiar drop 2. They can't get any damage, and the Mana Void will arrive. Funnick and Avor so low, the Cleave's doing its work, and they're going to lose both of them. This, even with the Shuriken toss, they go in deeper. Envy, the 4-star's going to be there from Dendy to try and save his captain PSM, but they chase in even deeper. Envy needs another 2 attacks. That's 1. There's 2 by Dendy actually helping him, scurrying him closer towards the Lina. They go in underneath the tier 3 and actually underneath the tier 4 towers. They have to get out of here. Team Secret will come back for the tier 2 tower, but what a fight. In fact, did they just go back in again? Yep, they did. They went up to Seneko. A message has been sent by Secret. This is their first game back, and it is one hell of a fight for them.
No kidding. I feel like that was more Navi's mistakes than Secret playing well there. They just tried to kill the Visage, who has 1300 HP and a Solar Crest. They missed so many times, and they didn't even min-max their damage either. Legion Commander didn't hit the Shadow Blade first. He casted Press the Attack, and then he attacked. But if he would have hit with Shadow Blade first, they would have had a slightly better chance to get the kill. But the Bird Stuns just interrupted everything, and there's no damage.
And what are you even meant to do from this point? Avors isn't ready to fight. Clockwork, Hookshot's coming off cooldown in a moment. Funnick looking to try and grab someone, but no one's really close enough for him. Jumps forward after the birds, but Puppey, they crave chill. He pressed the attack to get rid of that track, but the soul assumption damage not really that high up from Puppey. The birds are back in, but Nemweha hits a great Sonic Wave. Funnick is just so low. Envy can really capitalize, but it's the Queen of Pain to find the kill, and even Misery is killing off the Phantom Lancer. Havors had so much around him, but they've lost their bottom ranks. The only thing that will stop Secret right now is the fact that the tier 2 towers are still up in both the other lanes.
Ugh. Like, Navi's just not ready to take a team fight yet, because the only way they can win a fight is if they get a big RP. That's pretty much it. They need RP into, like, Lina damage, into cleaved right clicks from either PL or Legion, and they're not getting those. Like, they were looking so good around the Roche pit, they needed, like, another 5 to 10 minutes of solo picks around the map, and then they would have been ready to team fight. But they just didn't get that advantage, and they threw that Roche fight, and now they're in a place where they can't win unless they get a big RP. So as long as Secret spreads out a little bit, there's almost no way that they can lose if they just play standard from here on out, just because they can also solo gank very well. And Anti-Mage as well as Queen of Pain are transitioning into just solo killers. So now things get really tough.
Yeah. 23,000 on the net worth. This is just... The momentum is just something that even when you have bonus 66 damage on the Legion Commander, it's not the full devil situation, but he really needs something amazing. They don't have a gem. In fact, it's Pile Die who's walking around with this gem. So he ends up tracking up the Legion Commander as to press the attack it off. They just wanted a quick pick anywhere they could find one. It doesn't exist. Secret will keep this pressure on.
They have a smoke they could use, I guess, but there's the observer wards where they're standing, so they'd have to back.
Yeah. I don't think they really even care about smoke. Like, when you're this far ahead, I don't know if that... Where's that courier? Okay, it doesn't have the rest of the heart for Envy on it, but Envy's walking around with a Reaver and a Vit booster. Like, this is one insanely tanky anti-mage that's going to be able to survive through anything that Na'Vi throw at him. And you've got the Aghanims upgrade fully over on Puppey, so 3 full familiars. Weeha's already got his own Aghanim Scepter, so he's looking great. And you got the Blink Dagger plus Mech over on the Bounty Hunter. You give him another good fight, and the game's probably over with another good fight, but he'll have Greaves as well then.
Yeah, it's very tough. I really like the Clockwork and Bounty synergy. It's kind of cool. Even if they remove all the tracks, you can always just get Vision with Rocket Flare and they can track again. So they pretty much always know where Na'Vi is. And if the tracks are up, then they can't really smoke. And that's pretty much the only way they're going to be able to do anything here. Havos kind of by himself.
Yep. Misery was looking for the hookshot initially, but Envy. Whoops. Caught in the trees for a moment. Only a moment, though. Considering he's playing with 300 ping, I think he's okay. But this tier 2 tower now belongs to Team Secret. Nothing stops them from taking the rest of the racks, and the bottom lane still continues to pressure in. Na'Vi do have good clear because they have that Empower buff up, but beyond that, it's
not looking good.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely looking rough to say the least. And Secret can wait.
I was gonna say it's tough for PL to beat Anti-Mage in the first place. Now that he's behind, it just gets even harder.
Their abilities are gonna, like, okay. I'm looking right now at already a full Lincoln Sphere done. So
good luck dueling.
They have Lincoln Sphere on the Quap. They have a heart over on the Anti-Mage. The Bounty Hunter still has 760 gold. but it was the money on the Clockwork after picking up an ultimate orb. I'm wondering if this is Misery thinking, you know what, I'll just go into a site device. That way, the PL can't escape when I initiate in once we find the real one. Or he could also just go a Lincoln Sphere, and then Legion Commander does nothing. He can't start a duel.
They actually have really poor options to deal with the Lincolns this game. It's basically Laguna Blade, PL Lance, Diffusal Blade, and Force Staff, I guess, on Dendi. There's really not a lot of good solutions there. The best one is Spirit Lance or Diffusal Blade, but everything else is not a good solution. So Lincolns are actually amazing this game. Either a Lincolns or a Hex on him would be great, I think.
Well, I still don't think he's going to have enough time to get to both. Because Team Secret, they're preparing to come in. They have to keep pressing the attack to get rid of these tracks, which keep coming in too. And Team Secret can just split this up. Like Pylon Die can push in the bottom. In fact, you've got Misery going top. Both are able to quickly rotate over. And the rest, the brunt of their force is ready to push down the mid.
They'll just wait till next Roshan, most likely. Put the Aegis on Maternal Envy or somebody else, maybe. And keep Na'Vi in their base. They'll only get 2 or 3 creep waves. The bot lane is not a whole lot of farm.
It's a really short spawn time on Roshan too. Are they actually... Okay, yeah. Clockwork going to get caught out by the Legion Commander. They moved up with a relocate, but PSM, Sneeko can take him back in about 5 seconds, but then again, he won't survive 5 seconds. PSM, solo, they're going in deeper. Then he's on a half-life. They get the track over on a Vorce. He's got Doppelganger to get away, however. But Envy is making the most out of this. They attack into the tier 3 tower. The bottom lane's already pushed in, and it's no more backdoor regeneration, and they burn the fortification here. Clockwork, the only one to go down. And Envy's just too tanky, because he's got every ability to disengage. When those familiars are there, they all drop down at the same time, so the stuns are available, and Dendi, well, he came up. I don't know if he was looking for an RP.
He tried to skewer, but it was like a point-blank skewer. I think he misclicked or something, because he could have brought Puppey back towards their building, and they might have been able to get him, but small mistake from him.
Well, Team Secret at least. They had the upside. Roshan spawned up really quickly. He was 30 seconds out of the potential 3 minutes to spawn. And Envy could just blink over and do this himself. Like, he can actually just solo Roshan if he wants to.
Pressure with the other 4 heroes. They definitely can. I mean, they got a tower out of that. They obviously did get a duel and stuff, but that's pretty much all Na'Vi can do right now, is they move out and they get duels. And with the duels, they try to get another item. BKB up on Legion Commander, so he's transitioning slightly, but the BKB doesn't do that much this game, honestly. Quap still does most of the damage through that.
With the level 3 ulti, and Animage is still pumping out the good physical damage. Even Weeha's had some really good physical damage of his own. He's got a casual plate mail for now. It'll turn into a Shiva's Guard later on. Or if they're really focused on taking down buildings, maybe he just looks for the Assault Cuirass. But the Shivas makes sense. And a Butterfly build coming in for Eternal Envy. He starts with the Eagle Song.
Yeah, that's the point basically where PL doesn't do anything anymore. Once he has all that evasion, he just hits the illusions and they won't even hit him most of the time.
Yep.
Maybe not most, but I think AC is going to be the build on Quap here, to be honest. Like, obviously Shivas is very good, but AC on Quap is just going to help a lot towards killing tanky heroes like Legion Commander. You can right-click a lot harder as well. It's pretty common on Quap nowadays. I like it a lot.
Dandy gets a skewer over on Anti-Mage, but
Oh,
Funnick also starts the duel, but it was on an illusion. The Sonic Wave will connect. They've lost 2 in a blink of an eye. Soneko's about to go down as well. The relocate actually is the only thing that will save him here. And they try and turn around, but Secret are back to objective-based gaming. They're taking out the range racks. They can't duel onto Anti-Mage, 1, because duel's on cooldown, and 2, he's protected by Linkers. So not even a PL illusion to make life a little bit more difficult for him. And that is GG. Rightly so. 31-9, Team Secret. They were pressured by a Legion off-lane with a Wisp, and the pressure was not enough.
They just needed those early skirmishes, or more like the early to mid-game skirmishes go slightly better. They definitely could have came back in this game, but they needed to poke and prod more around Rosh and not be greedy about it. They needed a more important hero to kill before they could feel comfortable taking Rosh. And once they lost that fight, the game was extremely hard, and then a couple more fights lost, and the game was pretty much just over. So you can't go that one-sided against a bounty hunter. You just have to pick perfect fights. And I like the draft a lot out of Na'Vi, but the duel offlane just wasn't viable enough. It didn't get enough done, and their mid-game team fights just weren't good enough.
I agree, man. And this is going to be a pretty rough run now for them, as we're going to go to a short break, but don't fear, we will be back for more WCA action. This is only really the start of the whole competition. You get to watch the grid as we wait for our next game. But either way, great Dota coming your way for WCA. Only the European qualifier, the main event, will still happen down in China later on this year, so keep your eyes peeled for all those details, and we'll see you back here after this break.